Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakach Wadash, double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, Shalom to your brothers, Christians, true, and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And this lesson, I'm pretty much almost done with it, but I rewinded it back. That I was listening to again from the Elder Bernaza Zagba. On my way out this morning, I was listening to it again, and I was just listening to something while I was driving, and about the comment that the lady made. Pretty much, she was trying to say, what you can see, I paused it right here on the screen, and she was concerned about, the kingdom of heaven and how the men is gonna have multiple women, but she was trying to figure out what what the women had to look forward to, right? And this was from a year ago, I think it said, from a year ago. And when I was listening to it again, I was like, she's probably gotta be a new believer or something, man. But I just wanted to touch on a little bit to what was being talked about, because it was really just edification, going into the kingdom, and how we're going to be new beings, right, on a higher level that we are now, completely higher level. And I just want to say this before I get into it, and it's something that I always say. I say a lot, and I've been saying it more and more recently, going into particular topics like this, because right, when you read the scriptures, right, for the women, when you read the scriptures, and you hear about the stories of the women in the scriptures, right, and how they would give their men, right, wives, wives like their handmaids. They would give their husbands them to wife. These are in non-perfect bodies, right? And the women of old didn't have a problem with it, because that's what they knew. They knew that it was a custom. It wasn't what they didn't look at it as just sexual things, right? So when we read about this, the women of old, and how they would just give their handmaids over, or give their husband more women, or whatever the case may be. When you see that, and then you think about how the kingdom is going to be, right? We're going to be in perfect bodies in the kingdom. So in non-perfect bodies, right, which we are in now, right, that the women didn't have a problem with giving their husband, more women. What makes you think in a perfect body that you're going to have that same, you're going to have that mentality? It's just not going to be a thing, man. Right? We're going to be on a whole new level, right? And having multiple women, people just think it's always just about, and Elder went into it. He touched on. He said a little things about it. It's not always just about the man want to bust off in different box, man. This is not what it's about, right? First off, it's part of our custom, right? It's part of your heritage, right? It's part of the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that we can do that, right? So that alone should be enough. But it's also about how it can help the household, right? And how, like I said in one of my videos recently, how if you have, let's say, even though we say not to do all that stuff right now, but if you are in a situation, let's say you do have two wives, right, and y'all have your own spot, or wherever the case may be, and one of y'all have a kid, right? If you have a kid with one of the women, right? That's also, you got to look at it now, especially in this society. There's three incomes, right? There's three incomes, and then two people can go to work, and let's say one doesn't have to go to work, then she take care of that kid instead of leaving that kid in daycare, or had to drop him off at a grandma's house, or auntie's house, or try to have one of your siblings, whatever the case may be. Just on that small level, you have three incomes now, right? And you also have somebody that's a sister, that's not a demon, that's not going to harm your kid. You ain't going to find your kid worse off than when you left them and stuff like that. The kid's going to be taken care of, because they we're under the vibration that we're practicing the laws. We're changing, So you're gonna have somebody to take care of your kid, and then for the sisters, amongst the sisters, you just thinking on the small. Oh, you sleeping with my man. She look better than me. You ain't gonna have that. All that envy and that strife and and that that jealousy. You're not gonna have that amongst each other. Y'all gonna be getting your nails done together, beating on the heathen together, cussing out the heathen together, right? In unity, right? In unity. It's more than just about the man sleeping with another woman, man. Right? You understand that this is we're coming back into how we used to act and how we used to treat one another, how we used to conduct ourselves, amongst each other. And that was one of the things that we did, and the women didn't have a problem with that because you've seen that other woman as a sister, right? Right, and you understand family order, and you understand that especially when we get into the kingdom, or let's say just right now, right? The man, let's say the man is the only one that goes out to work, right? Now you have somebody else that can take care of the household. Now let's say you get sick, or whatever the case may be, you don't feel good. Now you have somebody that can also take care of you, but also take care of your man. You don't want your man to be taken care of if you're not capable. Let's say you get hurt. Let's say you get injured. Break a leg or something. Now he has to go work, and now you have to tend to yourself. But if you have another woman around, then she's gonna help you, and she's gonna do it with care. She's gonna do it with love, right? Because that's what we're coming into, right? We're learning how to be ourselves again, right? That's why this truth, this word of Yahweh Bashim Yashai is very important. We're relearning, we're relearning and becoming who the people that we once were. Right? There was no envy and there was no strife, amongst us like that. Because we took care of one another. Right? It was more deeper than to do you sleeping with a woman. And just in the comment, you ain't gonna be thinking like that, right? Because the kingdom, I'm gonna touch on the kingdom just a small bit. The kingdom is going to be, like the scripture says, it hasn't entered into our minds. That's how fabulous it's going to be. And Yahweh Shai said that he goes and prepare a place for us, man. And he's been preparing that place for some thousands of years. So you can just imagine what is getting ready to take place. Right? Obviously we got to go get through this hell, Jacob's trouble, and all the other stuff that takes place on this side, but it's gonna be marvelous, man. And in the kingdom, here it is, we're gonna be perfect, we all gonna be righteous. You're not gonna be worried about your man doing that. Because there's going to be so much more that you're going to have your focus on. And even if that wasn't the case, you're still not going to care because you're going to be righteous. You see, men having more than one woman is more than him want to put his rod in another box, man. It's way more than that. Even though that is a little bit part of it. That's part of the the luxuries about being a man, But that is more than that, man. You got to also think about when you have, like, just to touch on it, when a woman has a kid, right? When a woman has a kid, you're unclean you're unclean for a certain amount of time, depending on whether it's a baby girl or a baby boy. So in that time span, what is the man supposed to do, right? If you want to really just touch on that, because we all have those desires, We all have that that release that we need. So what is the man supposed to do? Here it is, we in the kingdom, and you got one wife, and then you just had a kid, so now you unclean for over a month. Now you just sitting at home twiddling his thumbs. No, man. You see, and a righteous woman wouldn't want her man to try to sit there and just wait for me. You wouldn't even want that. You see, you wouldn't even want that. You would want your man to be taken care of. So that's not even something that's not even a thought. But to keep going, the kingdom is going to be completely different, man. We're going to come up on a completely different level, of a different vibration, right? Now I just want to get a couple scriptures. This ain't gonna be super long. It might get long, but I don't know, right? And the first one I want to get, because we're coming into let's get this one. Start off with this. We're coming to, like I was saying, we're coming into a new existence, right? In the kingdom, we're talking about eternal glory, man, everlasting glory, a kingdom that's not going to be destroyed, right? And there's going to be no more envy. There's going to be no more strife amongst the tribe, amongst each other. There's going to be none of that. All that stuff is going to be done away with, right? We're going to be able to trust, trust one another, and leave your, you don't worry about your kids getting harmed, and you can drop your kids off at any brother, any sister's house, and your kid is going to be perfectly fine, right? And we're going to be able to enjoy our kids. We're going to be able to enjoy our family. We're going to be able to do those things once again, right? And we're never going to die. Literally going to be immortal. So you're going to see all the generations, every single last generation of your kids. You're going to be a super great auntie, a great grandma, great granddad. You're going to be a super uncle, super auntie, cousin, or whatever the case, man. Because we think about it, we gonna have kids, and our kids gonna have kids, and their kids gonna have kids, and their kids gonna have kids, and they're never going to die. It's gonna be a never going to die, man. A never-ending cycle. It's gonna be Israelites all over the earth, and they're all going to be perfect, man. You get to finally watch, your relatives and your family grow up and not grow old and die, man. That's for us. That's the promises for the Israelites, right? Not for the other nations. The kingdom is just so much more than you worried about. You sleeping with another woman? You're not gonna care, man. Now, and you gonna be giving your handmaids, your servants that you have. You're gonna be giving them over to your husband, because your mind gonna be on other things, man. She got a bigger butt than me. All the women gonna be beautiful. All the men gonna be beautiful. All the children gonna be beautiful. Everybody, you ain't gonna be worried about that. you gonna have princess duty to take care of. While your man is gone, he gave you charge over the house or whatever the case may be. So he wants this to get done. You gonna have to get that done. You and other women gonna do it. You and other women gonna go out. You and other women gonna get your nails, all the stuff done together. Talk about how much y'all love your man or whatever the case may be. Beating on the heathen, cussing them out, talking about their mama, spitting on them, doing those things, man. You see, you ain't gonna be worried about. You ain't gonna be worried he's sleeping with her. Or he's like the elder said. He spent 30 minutes with me last night, but he spent 2 hours with her. Come on, man. You're not gonna be worried about that, right? So let's start off with this one. I'm gonna play some of the video too. It's Isaiah 60:21. Actually, no, we can start up a little bit. We can start one verse up. Actually, hold on. We're gonna start at 18. This is Isaiah 60:18. It says, "Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise." Right? Let's keep going. It's verse 19. It says, "The sun shall no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be thee an everlasting light, and thy power, and thy power thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For the Lord shall be thine everlasting light, right, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended." It says, "Thy people," right, "also shall all be righteous, like it." It says, "They shall inherit the land forever." It says, the branch of my planting, the works of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. You see, a little one's going to become 1,000. How's that going to happen? That's going to be happening from a man having plenty of women, right? Because we understand that we're also bringing back the Israelites that died on this side. right? The two-thirds got to come back somehow. Do you know how long it would take for the two-thirds to come back if only one man had one woman? You're bringing one baby, one baby per year, man. Come on, man, that don't even make sense. We got to repopulate the earth, man. And the scripture says, "Be fruitful and multiply," man. And you be fruitful and multiply by you spreading your seed, you spreading your seed, amongst women, right? People always think that the dirtiest things when a man says he wants multiple women, man. And it's just not that, man. All right, so I'm gonna play some of the Elvis video, and I'm gonna keep going. But that just goes to show you, right? You people not in the right mind, man. And like I said, and I'll say it again, right? I understand. You grew up in Babylon the Great. The women grew up in Babylon the Great, right? America. And the only thing you know is, your man, you being the only one that your man's supposed to be. But I understand the jealousy. I understand, that aspect. But you have to understand that we come into a new existence, man. We're coming new creatures. We're returning, right? We're returning back into our ways, to our customs, to our laws, and that's a part of it. And there are some women, right, that's in this truth that has no problem with it. They overcame that, right? But there's some women that was for her. It's a hard concept for you to grasp, man. But you don't have to worry about that. You're not gonna have that same thinking that you have now. You're not gonna have that in the kingdom. So understand, your flesh might get the best of you sometimes, but you gotta understand that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is getting ready to change us, man. It's getting ready to change us. So we're not going to be the same, low-level creatures that we are now, man. We're coming to, I keep saying, we're coming to a new existence, starting off with the bodies. The new bodies that's going to be perfect. And your ways of thinking is going to be perfect. So if your ways of thinking is going to be perfect, and it's going to be fashioned, and what makes your mind perfect? What's going to be making your thinking perfect? Based off the law, statutes, and commandments. The words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So if those ways is going to be perfect, right? Then therefore, because the law is going to be written on our inward parts, and what is some of the things that's in the law that a man can have more than one. So if that's going to be written in your inward parts, you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about, man. It's not going to be a thing to where you sit here and you just concerned, right? That you just concerned about that shouldn't really be something you're concerned about. Because everything that we know in this life, right? The things that we know now when it comes to the bodies, right? The bodies are, the foolish thoughts that we have, right? The decrepit, the decaying of these bodies, the diseases, all the things, the infirmities, the ailments, all the stuff that has to deal with this life when this place goes down, right? When this place is burning, all that stuff is gonna be in that lake of fire, man, in Babylon the Great. All that stuff is gonna be there. All the disease, all that stuff is being left here, man. Right? And then for the men, the only thing you think you're gonna be in the kingdom, you think you about to have 20,000 women, and the only thing you're gonna do is just you just about to be doing it all day, all night, man. It's so much more to the kingdom than just sex, man. Hey, you people need to get your minds off that. Even though that is a part of the kingdom. Yes, I can imagine. I'll say this. I can imagine. How we're gonna be. We're gonna be in new bodies. We're gonna be perfect, new bodies. So I could imagine that everybody's gonna get their socks knocked off, man. Literally, it's gonna be probably, man. You don't even know what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be the best that anybody's ever had. But the kingdom is more than that, man. Especially as a man, especially if you're a man in the Lord, you're gonna be governing cities. You're gonna be lords over cities. You're gonna be governing. You're gonna be conducting stuff. You're gonna be answering questions. People gonna come up to you, want to talk to you about knowledge, how to do this, how to do that. Women's probably gonna be one. It's probably gonna be in your mind, but it's gonna be in the last thing on your mind. And I say, and to this day, nothing changes. For me, this is just me speaking. The thing that I'm most excited for about the kingdom, besides everybody being one, you know, is being able to explore the earth, man. The earth hasn't even been fully explored. That's what I'm most excited. Be able to travel without having to pay and be restricted from government access or whatever the case. Being able to explore the earth, going down in the caves, going down to these ancient spots, man. These caves, going underwater, doing these things, seeing animals, seeing fruits, seeing vegetables that that we don't know because we haven't seen it. There's only and in this earth there's certain vegetation that only grows at certain parts that that's not gonna grow in a particular spot due to climate, due to whatever, man. So be able to taste new fruits, be able to see these things, new animals, new insects, new bugs, all types of things that we've never seen before. That's what I'm most excited about, is be able to travel at free will. And you know what I mean by that. We know you don't have free will, but being able to travel with you got to get a passport, you got to get a real ID, you got to pay for a ticket, then you got to go to TSA. We ain't going to be no TSA in the kingdom, man. We're going to get in our chariots and we're going to go. You got to go online and buy a ticket. And we ain't buying no tickets in the kingdom, man. We get in the chariots and we just going, man. That's what I'm most excited about, being able to explore the earth in its entirety. The women's going to come with it, but hey, man. You people got to stop thinking about, just the low things. And just like the elder was saying, not being able to be told no. Because everything you're going to want and everything you're going to get is going to be in righteousness. And this is just fleshy stuff, having an infinite amount of clothes. that's just lowly stuff. Jewelry, diamonds and stuff. That's just low level stuff. But it's still a part of the kingdom. And it's going to be beautiful. No more working, getting up in the morning and have to clock in for Esau. No more, none of that, man. They gonna be working. And I need you to do this today. This is what's gonna be happening. You worried about a man having multiple? No more work. You're gonna be getting up in the morning trying to clock in 40 hours a week. All that stuff is done, man. Then you go home and get a couple hours to yourself, and then you gotta go to sleep to get right back up to do it all over again. That stuff is done, man. It's going to be done. Not done now, but it's going to be. Be able to wake up in the morning and fresh air, man. Like this is what's coming to us, man. Rest from all our labors, all this hard bondage. This is scripture. As that scripture goes, says rest from the hard bondage that was made to serve, or something like that. Paraphrasing that. All that stuff is gonna be done, man. Like you people think this kingdom, the kingdom, is gonna be like America. It's gonna be like America, just like America, but we gonna be in rulership. No, it's gonna be a whole new vibration on the earth, man. A whole new complete vibration on the earth. The trees, the air, animals, everything's gonna be rejoicing. And the other nations going to benefit from us being in power too. Because everything's going to be back in its rightful order. Yeah, it's going to take time to get it there. Right? That's what that whole 1,000-year period is about. Is instructing the heathen how things is getting ready to go. Or it's going to go. Right? And putting everything in back in order. All right, so I'm going to play some of the video like I said.
And the women say this is how a king should live. But how will the woman be treated like a princess and feel like one? Because you're going to be a damn princess. You're going to be a bloody princess. You're going to have real gold, diamonds. Your backyard could be full of diamonds. Your tree might have trees made out of gold. Who knows? What could you ask for? You're going to have everything that you ever wanted. That ain't enough. You're going to live forever. That's not enough. You're going to have numerous children. And then your children going to grow up. And then they're going to have children. Then their children going to have children. You're going to be able to see all of this. You're not going to die on a deathbed, die broke, not have a husband.
And then you see the comment. She said, I'm going to read the last part. You talking about feel like a princess. That goes back to the laws. The law is gonna be in your inward parts. Everybody's inward parts. So you're not gonna feel left out. Here it is. Your man has 10 women. He took all 9 of them on dates for a whole month, and then you haven't got on. Well, no, man. Because in the laws, whatever you do for one, you got to do for all of them. So you gonna feel like a princess, man. It's literally, it's impossible for you to feel left out. We're gonna be in our kingdom. You ain't gonna feel left out, man. You can't do a whole bunch just for one woman, then leave the other ones hanging dry, man. No, that's unrighteousness, and we ain't gonna be nothing unrighteous about anything that we're doing in the kingdom, because we're going to be perfect. It's gonna be impossible for us to go off. It's gonna be impossible to sin, literally impossible. You won't have not even one in these bodies. Now you have probably hundreds of wicked thoughts a day. Shit just pop up in your head. You won't have not one unrighteous thought in your mind, man. You ain't gonna feel left out. You ain't gonna feel, oh, what if he don't love me? He spent all his time with her. And all the women. Here it is, all y'all in the living room. All 20 women in the living room complaining, and all y'all moping and groping because he spent time with only just this one woman. No, man. No. You can go on vacation. You can literally go anywhere in the world. You can go vacation for however long you want to. Like, come on, man. That's gonna be, I promise you, that's going to be the least thing on your mind. So you probably like, all right, honey, I'm about to go take me and her going here. Oh my goodness, have fun. You gonna kiss her, hug her goodbye, tell her have fun, da. And all the other women that's left, y'all gonna enjoy yourselves, man. Mom taking her here, we're about to go here. Or you might take all y'all, who knows? Everybody's going. You'll lead the kids to, the brother and them. We don't know how it's gonna go, man. But you're not going to be worried about that.
No, it ain't gonna be like now. It ain't gonna be an episode. What's that movie? Precious.
And how we know it's not, let me get this scripture. Let me play some more of the other video. This scripture right here, man. Revelation 21. Got slow connection over here where I am. Just bear with me. It says the new heaven and the new earth. All right, I'm gonna start at 1. This is Revelation 21:1. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth would pass away, and there was no more sea. It says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And that New Jerusalem is the Israelites in the new bodies, man. And then he said, I forgot, I was watching the video. I was watching one of the brothers' video. I was watching, and they said that somebody said that the new Jerusalem coming down was the actual buildings. Hey, you gonna be sitting down on the ground, and then you see all the buildings just floating down from the sky all soft. Oh look, brother, there go my house right there. Oh, look at your house, your deck. No, man, it's not talking about that. Damn niggas, man. No, it's not talking about that. It's talking about the people in the new bodies. And I heard a great voice, is verse 3, and heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. Right, this is the point that I want right here, in verse 4, it says, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there should be no more death. We're going to be immortal, the new bodies, no more dying, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And that was just like I was saying earlier. All these things that we know in this place is going to literally die here. There's going to be no more sorrow. So you ain't going to be worried about how he's going to treat you, because you're going to be treated the best that you've ever been treated in your life. And that goes for the men too. We're getting ready to enter into rest, man. So when you're at rest, you're not worrying about things. Like right now, Esau, starting with the top elite, they're not worried about nothing. Well, they are going to be worried about it. These other level, the low level Edomites, when this place starts to go down and all hell starts to break loose, right? But right now they at their rest because this is their kingdom. They don't have to worry about nothing really. Yeah, some of them might have, blue collar jobs. They work, but they get enough money where they don't care. They cool. They drive their little Mercedes, they Audi or whatever the case may be. And they go to work. They come home and they're at rest. That's gonna be us, but excluding the work. We are gonna be doing work, but it ain't gonna be how the heathen's gonna be working it, and it ain't gonna be like how it is now, right? Because the 144,000 is the governing body, So they are gonna have work to do, right? You're gonna be lords over cities. They're gonna be having these stuff to get built here, do this, but it ain't gonna be strenuous. It ain't gonna be where you gotta go home. I'm tired. I'm bummed out. Boss is yelling at me. You gonna be the boss. You the boss. And we had nothing to worry about because you're literally going to own everything underneath the Lord. So what we going to have to go to work for? We going to own everything underneath Yahushua. We ain't going to have to worry about nothing, man. Our king, we're going to have our king, man. He's going to be on earth. We're not going to have to worry about anything, man. Yahushua said he goes to prepare a place for us, man. And that place has been being prepared, like I said, for thousands of years now. You see? So you got to put off those mortal thoughts, man. Even though, like I said, I kind of understand because how you grew up in Babylon the Great. But you got to overcome that. You got to overcome that thought, man. The kingdom is going to be like nothing that nobody's ever seen before.
No. How do a woman supposed to feel like a princess when he is treating all these women like princes as well? So let me get it straight. You want to be the only princess then? Is that it? You want to be the baddest bitch like now? You want to be Megan Thee Stallion or Beyonce? They're going to be dead. I just don't see how this will work. I don't see how the women will deal with this. How we will always compare ourselves to the other wives.
And that's not something you're going to do. It's not something. Why would you do that? What would be the scenario where we're in the kingdom, we're all perfect, that you have to compare yourself to another woman? She's immortal just like you. She's gonna be beautiful just like you. Y'all gonna have the same man. What is there to compare to? Y'all both gonna have palaces. Y'all gonna be living in a castle. We don't know how big the house is gonna be, man. But the house ain't gonna be no damn 1-bedroom apartment. I can tell you that. It ain't gonna be no 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom townhouse. You all crammed up and no, man. What is there gonna be compared to? Y'all gonna be able to enjoy each other. Y'all gonna be doing each other's hair, making recipes together, doing this. Raising the kids together, doing that. We're going to be in literally, and some people can't grasp it. We're going to be living in perfection. You can't. There's no way you're going to be in perfection and you worried about small things like this, man. You ain't gonna be worried about small inconveniences. I wonder how we gonna pay the rent. Ain't gonna be no rent. I wonder what she doing. Why she spending so much time? You ain't worried about that. Didn't I just read that there's gonna be no more sorrow? Because where she's coming, where she's coming from is a mind of sorrow. Ain't gonna be no more than that. You're gonna be crying. Oh, he spent all day with her. You ain't gonna be worried about that. You're gonna be happy for her. Oh yeah, spending time with him. Good. She's spending time with him now. I'm doing this around the house, around the palace, around the castle, around I don't know what's some other words from huge houses. I don't know. You're gonna be worried about that. You're gonna have slaves, you're gonna have heathens, you're gonna have gardens. And I'm pretty sure we can't say, but I'm pretty sure, everybody's gonna have their own hobby. Whatever you enjoy doing. You just like flying your chariot around. You're gonna get in the chariot, you're just gonna be flying. Or you want to just, sit by the water. I don't know, man. We can't tell you the basic, the everyday life, how it is in the kingdom. We can't answer those questions. But I can imagine that, you gonna have fun doing, things like having like a little small little hobby. Obviously ain't gonna be like playing damn PS5. Ain't gonna be no damn PS5s in the kingdom. And ain't gonna obviously no hobby like that. But you being outdoors doing something. I don't know, have a garden. You gonna have the heathens to do that. But let's say let's say it's something that you just want to do. I just want to plant. I just want to garden. I just want to do these things. You have your own separate little small garden that only you attend to, and you have the heathens do all the other stuff. Like, who knows, man? But it's gonna be no more sorrow. There's gonna be no more tears. You're gonna be crying. What you crying for? You in the kingdom, in perfection. You can have anything that you want. No more work. Unlimited resources, unlimited land. You can have animals. You can have all this stuff. The freshest fruit, the freshest animals, the freshest of everything. Maybe you worried about it in the kingdom. You gonna come on, man. You have to come on a new level, man.
For what? For what? When we all gonna be immortals, how we would have to know our husband made love to other women. We will never feel special. So having the Heavenly Father there and not destroying your ass, that ain't good enough. Having seen your enemies perish and all your haters vanquished, that ain't good enough. We will never feel special, and the men never seem to have an answer about this topic or care to explain. When we talking about it now, just like the men don't want to share, we have that same spirit on us not wanting to share. How does one woman supposed to feel love from a man who's loving on multiple women? Well, what make you feel loved? Some sucker at home taking care of the kids while you shaking your funky ass at the club? That make you feel love? Cause last time I checked, you got a pretty sweet deal here in Babylon the Great, and you still ain't happy. What are you talking about? Stupidity. Also, the men get the chance to try different variants of women, while the woman has to stay with this one man.
And then just to touch on that real quick, you realize that the natural thing in women is when they have their man, the person that they love and adore and actually care about. That's all you want, is that one man. That's how you naturally feel, because that's how you were made. We were not made that same way. We can love, a man can love multiple women at one time and take care of all of them, if he has the ability to do so. You see, you women aren't made the same as us. When you women have a man, you love that man. You only want him. You only want attention from him. You see, but men like to have it's in us, man. We're programmed that way. You can't not unprogram it. You can have a woman. That's why dudes do it all the time. A man have they woman that they take care of and they love, but then they go out and go they go out and go sleep with somebody else and then go back home to the woman that you care about. Because it's not the same for us. A man can love his woman to death and will die for his woman, but then go sleep with another woman, right? Go sleep with another woman, and that it was literally just that. It was just sex. That's all it was. It was just pleasure, and he wouldn't care about her at all. You see, but women, it's completely different. You have that man, that one man. You only want that one man looking at you, touching on you. You want to give that all to him, not a whole bunch of people. So you arguing that point right there is just like, it's really an invalid point to make. Because a lot of women, is there some women that, that grew up in Babylon the Great that don't care, that's desensitized to that stuff, and that doesn't apply to, of course. Because Babylon the Great has ran its course on people. But for the most part, women nowadays, that's not how women are hardwired. In the kingdom, you're going to be back to your natural, how it's supposed to be. You ain't gonna have that one man, and you're gonna love him forever, literally.
That snatch is craving different, Rod. What if we are not happy? How can you be in a kingdom that's yours? How, brothers? How, sisters? How can you be in a kingdom that's yours? You ain't gonna work. You're not gonna have a job. You're not gonna have a child support. You're not gonna have none of that. Your children are gonna be superhuman immortals. What are you talking about? How could you not be happy? It's too boring here. All we ever do is eat these berries. All we do is we don't never go to work. We don't never have to struggle or nothing. We just here. Good Lord, everybody's so beautiful. This is boring. You're dumb. You a complete asshole.
There's literally gonna be unlimited things for you to do. For you to have unlimited access to everything in the world. You tell me you're gonna get bored? Come on, you're going to be happy in the kingdom. Everybody's going to, all the Israelites, I should say, is going to be happy in the kingdom. And then eventually the heathens going to be happy too. But why they get their heads mashed in, they ain't going to be happy. And even still then, they might find some type of joy. I mean, this is the Israelites that's doing it, not Esau. Even the heathens might find joy in getting beat up. They might even find joy in it. Who knows, man?
And you have no depth, you have no character, you have no imagination, you have no spirituality, and you're not of the elect, I dare say.
And then on top of that, there's spiritual power. Can't forget about that. You're going to be able to just fly, teleport, go invisible, spawn things out of thin air. Here you go. Oh, you needed this. Here it is. Unlimited. You're going to have all your brain power. Unlimited brain power. You're going to be able to just, man, how can you be, oh my goodness. The level that we're getting ready to come on, I promise you, another woman is not going to take away that. Is not going to take that away from you. You're not going to care. You are not going to care. You're gonna have like 30 handmaids. You're gonna be like, here, take them. Take them all. Here you go. You can have them all. You're not gonna care about none of that.
You are not of the elect, madam. But yeah, we all laughing at you because this is stupid.
And then hopefully, by now, if she was, a new believer, or if she wasn't, hopefully by now, her name was Hopeless Romantic. Hopefully by now, that you have a changed heart, man. After watching the video, and there's probably maybe other videos made about the topic, or whatever the case. Hopefully you had a change of heart, man. All right, because this is not a video really to get on you, but that is a very simple mind to have, man. Hopefully that your mind has been, your heart has been expanded. Because we're talking about Yahweh Shai's kingdom, man. And you think that it's gonna be come on, man.
This gets more ridiculous every time I read it, but I enjoy it so. Because we still learning something, we learning from this hideous, foolish comment from a small woman. We all learn from it. She says, what if we're not happy? If the man is not happy, he can find another wife and another. So let me get.
And then the man on top of that, the man is going to be happy with every single woman that he has. Because you understand the bond between a man and a woman is going to come back, right? That you really don't have that bond now, right? Because the women that us men get now, they've had traumas from multiple different other men. They've been with other men, right? So that true bond is gonna come back too, right? Because when you read about the story with actually, let's get it. I'm gonna get it actually. Mother Sarah's tent. Oh wait, hold on. What's that? Genesis. Here we go. And Isaac, this is Genesis, right? 24 and 67. And you'll see why I'm bringing this out in a second. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was confronted after his mother's death, right? Isaac took Rebekah and immediately went into the tent. And what happened? They immediately was in love. And he loved her. It wasn't no 18 months, 5 months down. Oh, I love you now. No, man, this was the immediate. This is the immediate connection, an immediate bond, because that's the best way for you to one of the best ways for you to really truly get to know your person, is having that intimate time, right? And now sex has been over sexualized in this place, so now people just do it and don't have and think nothing of it, right? Because that's an actual a true connection, man. Doing that, sex is not a dirty thing. It's a very beautiful thing, because you enter into that woman. You're inside her, right? And you're exchanging energy. You're exchanging energies, fluids. You're experiencing a whole different level of connection with that person, and that what really is a true bond. But now, since nowadays, like I said, sex has been over sexualized in this place. You really don't get that true experience for the most part now, because of how everything's been in Babylon the Great. And I know the other Apostle Bar was talking about. I was listening to his video. It was yesterday on the way in from work, and he was talking about how the pair bonding is completely different now, because the women have been have multiple partners. So all that stuff is gonna come back too. The true bond, and that woman is only going to know you her whole entire life, literally forever. You're gonna be the first and the last. And that true connection is gonna come back. That true love is gonna come back amongst each other. You can't just think about these things and just be like you're gonna be unhappy in the kingdom. It's not gonna be possible. It's not possible for you to be unhappy in the kingdom. If you unhappy in the kingdom, then like Elsa said, you can't be made happy. There's nothing that nobody can do for you to make you happy. You gonna have all your the relatives, all the great prophets, all the great the men. The King of Kings is gonna be there. Yahushua, King David, everybody's gonna be. It's gonna be a big family reunion for the Israelites, right? Everybody's gonna be in their right mind. Everybody's gonna be righteous. Not one person's gonna still covet not one thing. And you tell me you're gonna be unhappy? How are you not gonna be happy finally, being one with everybody, man? Everybody's on one accord. Ain't nobody trying to break in your house. Or she got more diamonds than I do. I'm gonna go break in her house. Robbing people. Ain't gonna be no robbing in the kingdom. And this ain't gonna be happening, man. You can't. It's just, come on, man. You gotta. So I'm saying, I hope that you had a new change of heart, man.
Get it straight. So men find multiple wives. The law said they could do it. They get more women to try to make themselves happy. No man is gonna be happy chasing after his bride. That's for sure. We're gonna have peace and laughter and joy and true brotherhood and fatherhood and grandfatherhood and great grandfatherhood and great 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 grandfatherhood. Goodness. But if I'm not happy, I have to try to get picked by another man and still compare myself to other women. So what's gonna make you happy then? What's gonna make you happy? The kingdom is also for the women to have peace as well. How can a woman be at peace if she's constantly comparing herself to other wives? And
I just named, I don't know how many things I didn't mention and listed off that you're going to be happy, man.
answer to that, madam, is I don't know. You got to stop comparing yourself to other women, because that's just ridiculous. Good Lord, she got her mansion is, she got a 20-story mansion, and mine only 19 stories. What? What are you talking about? How about being at peace with all your relatives, all your female look? Oh man, is beautiful Israelite women upon women upon women upon sisters and friends and cousins. Nobody gonna be bickering. You get to cook, trade secrets, smell good, look wonderful. God, see your enemies in slavery. You're gonna have everything your heart desires, but you're trying to find reasons to doubt. Let's read a few of these scriptures. GMS Spiritual Army, Elder Monagon, Deuteronomy 28:10. Y'all forgive my momentary father, but I can't help myself. Damn. Woo. Look at this. Of course, a proud ass nigga can't help but come in. And you a punk ass Yah Israelite. You can take that YAH, which is not the name of the Lord. You can shove it, cuz. I'm gonna come back to you, Elder Monagon. Let's show this ridiculousness. You shut up, amp. You little biatch. Humility is needed here. She's asking you her position as a woman, Our men should understand that all things are led by y'all. Women, if he isn't led by y'all, he ain't. Shut up, nigga. Go play in the sandbox. Go take. You know you got dreadlocks. Go get a velvet scrunchie out of your mama's medicine cabinet and put it on your damn dreadlocks. Okay. You a gay lion. Row, row, you a gay lion. Go away, man. You emotional ass Israelite. But see, it was a little bit of clickbait, brothers. A little bit of clickbait. You know, there's a tree and trees. Like motherfucker, what's his name?
But the point is made, man. I'm gonna get this last one too, and I'm gonna close out. In Isaiah 65 and 22, it says, "They shall not build in another inhabit," because we know in the curses that what we was gonna plant in another. Like I said, you should plant a vineyard, and another should gather the grapes thereof. You know, paraphrasing that. You know, the curses was some of the stuff in the curses was that we was going to be doing these things. We're going to be building, we're going to be planning, but we're not reaping the benefits of those things. That stuff is going to be done, man. You're going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It says, "They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the works of their hands." And that it's going to start off with the elect, but it's going to trickle down to every single Israelite. You're going to be able to enjoy the works of your hands, man. You're going to be able to have the blueprint for your castle that you want to build. Your 50-story castle. And you're going to be able to live. You ain't going to be building it and then Esau come in. Thanks. I'm sleeping here now. No, man. You're going to be able to enjoy. You're going to be playing. You're going to get all the fruits. You're going to be gathering everything, man. So that's it. I could keep going. I'm going to close out, right? Got to get back to it anyway. So that's it, man. I just had to touch on that. That was on my mind. That was on my spirit when I was listening to it again. I was like, I gotta go into this a little bit, because it's just like you can't. The kingdom is going to be. It's really not even a word that you can even put for it, man. The kingdom is going to we'll just say beautiful. And this is not like the little stuff that you think that you're going to be worrying about. You're not. There's gonna be no more sorrow. And I'm gonna close out. So I hope the lesson was edifying. I hope you got some out of it. I want to give all